Welcome again, dear students. Let's start your today's lecture of PCST, Principle of Concrete Structure Design. It is the fourth lecture, and we have finished half of the chapter. Half of the chapter of chapter number 3 of PCST, and the remaining chapter will be continued in this lecture. Do you have any question in the previous lecture? Do you have any question in the previous lecture? Any one of you? Do you have any question? Mr. Bell, do you have any question in the previous lecture? No? Okay, let's begin your today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we have studied few terms like there are different buildings. What is basically a building? It is a combination of some structural members combined together, like walls, roofs, combines together, standing together to form a structure. That structure is called as building. And the second name of the building is edifice. We have also studied some function purposes of the structure. The purpose of the structure, there are basically two types of purposes. Do you remember? One is called residential and another is called commercial. Structure types and their components I have already studied. There are two types of structure, substructure and superstructure, and their components like floors, columns, beams, slabs, footings. All these are the structure components. Limitations of the concrete I have already studied in this course. There were 8 limitations of concrete. If you remember, the name of those limitations are: concrete is brittle material, it have low tensile strength, concrete have low toughness index, concrete has low specific strength, formwork is always required when you are working with concrete. It requires long covering time, approximately 28 days. Working with cracks is also the limitations of concrete. Demands strict quality control, because if you want to control the quality, then you need to follow the strict remedies. We have studied all these things in the previous lecture. We are going towards the next one. Structural loads. As we have studied in the previous lecture, that there are 3 types of loads. The one is called, let me mark. There are 3 types of load. One is vertical load, horizontal loads, and longitudinal loads. The example of vertical loads are, you can see vertical loads example is dead load, live load, and impact load. These are vertical loads. You can see over here, this arrow shows the vertical load, this arrow shows the vertical load, this arrow shows the vertical loads. Similarly, the horizontal loads, these horizontal loads, the example of horizontal loads are wind load and earthquake loads. Wind load and earthquake load are called horizontal loads. And longitudinal loads are the one which is being located in 2 types of structures like bridges and the girders. Bridges are usually designed for longitudinal loads. Okay. All these things have been studied in the previous lecture. And even we have studied the codes importance and classes importance. There were few different codes. These are the types of the loads which are acting on our normal structure. This was the assignment which we have discussed before. This was a slide which we need to study right now. Well, sorry, I was setting up. Well, there are two types of load combinations. One is called factored load combination, another is called service load combination. Factored load combinations are used. These factored load combinations can be calculated or can be found by these formulas. When you are dealing, if you want to find out the total load of the structure, then there will be a dead load and live load in the structure. This is the basic formula, you need to use it. Over here you can see 1.2 is multiplied with dead load and 1.6 is multiplied with live load. Why these are multiplied? See on the board, the basic formula for calculating the factored load U is calculated by 1.2 dead load plus 1.6 live load. What does this 1.2 means? 1.2 is basically we are taking 20% extra dead load, and over here we are taking 60% extra live load. What does dead load mean? Dead load is the load of like furniture, tiles, self-weight of structure. All these are considered to be a dead load. What is live load? Live load is basically what? Live load is basically the load of people. Like I am standing in this building and my load will be considered as a live load. Like appliances, the equipment which we are using in our home that are considered to be a appliances. Moving furniture, those furnitures which can move. These are also called as live load. So, dead load is the load of furniture, tiles, self-weight of the structure. These are considered to be a dead load. Live load is the weight of people, appliances, or moving furniture. Why we are multiplying with 1.2 and 1.6? 1.2 means you are taking 20% extra. 1.6 means you are taking 60% extra live load. Why we are taking extra 20%? For example, your building is designed for 1000 kids. For example, this is just an example. your building is designed for 1000 dead load and you have applied on it 1000 means 1100 kits, then what will happen? Obviously your structure will fail because you have designed your building for 1000 load and you are applying 1100 kits. Your structure will fail. That's why we are taking 20% extra for the factor of safety. This is for factor of safety. Similarly, and 60%, if your classroom is designed for example, live load, your classroom is designed for 100 students. And in a case, sometimes the students came 150 students in a classroom. Your building, your classroom is designed for 100 students. But in some case, 150 students came to their classroom. Then what will happen? Building will again fail. That's why we need to take 60% extra live load in such case. When you are taking 60% extra live load, then this problem will be solved. Okay. Understand? So, if the dead load plus fluid is applied on a structure, then you need to take the 40% extra. If snow, rain, temperature and wind combines together and applied, then you can follow these combinations from here to here. And if only earthquake hits your structure, you are taking the load of earthquake, then you need to use these last two combinations. Okay, it is written here: D means dead load, E means earthquake, F is fluid, H is for weight or pressure from soil, L means live load, LR is roof live, R means rain, S is snow, T is cumulative effect of temperature, P is shrinkage, and W is the wind. All these are mentioned here. And these are the load combinations according to the code name is UBC. Code name is UBC 97. UBC let me write it over here. These combinations are from ACI code and UBC. These combinations are used in UBC 97, Uniform Building Code 97. And even the same type of load combinations are followed in CBC China Building Code and also PCB Pakistan Building Code. These are the strength reduction factors. We need to take the strength reduction factor because strength reduction factor, the purpose of taking the strength reduction factor so that we can take the, for example, this is tension controlled section. Tension controlled section means beam is a tension control section. Let me write it over here. See on the board. Tension control section. Tension that is beam. And for beam, phi is the strength reduction factor that is to be taken as 0.9. Why? Why we are not taking equal to 1? Why we are not taking 100%? Why I am taking only 90%? Because the remaining 10%, is considered to be as a factor of safety. I am designing my beam on 0.9 strength reduction factor. Why? Because the remaining 10% should be our factor of safety. Clear? So, factor of safety is most important. There are different factor of safety. Strength reduction factors are taking for different type of structures. This is also your assignment too. You can use this slide as your assignment. Compressive control section. Compression control section means columns. There are two types of columns available with spiral reinforcement and other reinforcement members. With spiral reinforcement, you have to use 0.75, and for reinforced members, you have to use 0.65. You will use, remember these values, we will use these values in our design. For shear and torsion, like shear controlled member is the example of footing. We will use 0.75. Bearing on concrete will be used for 0.65. Post tension and anchorage zones we have to use 0.85. And struts and tie models we have to use 0.75 strength reduction factor. Post tension and strut and tie models are not used in this course, but these will be used in the next course. Well, let's move towards the example number 1, and this will be your homework. Please, dear students, this will be your homework. You have to solve this assignment with your ID numbers. For example, let me show you, see on the board. Let me show you the factor, the name student factor. Factor ID number is 2018 and 120004. Okay, this is the ID number of factor. Then which number will you use for your solution? You have to use the last 2 digits. These last 2 digits will be used for the solution of numerical. Even in 2 courses, SMAF and ECSD, you will have to solve the numerical problems. And numerical problems, when I say, for example, dead load is equals to 50 PSF plus your registration number. This registration, this R number means you have to use your ID number. So for factor, this dead load is equals to 50 plus 4. That will be equals to 54 PSF. You have to solve your numerical for this value. Okay, understand? Did you understand, guys? Mr. Bruce Wayne, did you understand?
Basically, I think maybe I understand the.
Don't blush, it's okay. Let me repeat. What's your ID number?
0303.
Wait. This is is your ID number. This is the ID number of Bruce Wayne, like 003. Bruce Wayne ID number is 2018120003. You have to use these last two integers. 03 will be used for your calculation. For example, dead load is given to you 50 PSM plus your registration number. Then you have to add with 3, and this final value will be your 53. Okay. Let us solve a numerical, then you will able to understand what I am talking about. Okay. And this is the data related to the numerical. First, try to understand. Live load means load that move or change. Live load means load that move or change, like furniture, appliances, people, wind, snow, etc. All these are the meaning of, these are the examples of live load. Similarly, dead load, loads that are constant. Dead load cannot be changed. Dead load is called constant load. The weight of structure, construction material, plumbing fixtures, all these are the examples of dead load. Okay. Beams and girders. There are different types of beams, and you will have, our numerical is related to S beam and W beam. So what is beams? Are girders support floors, joists over a long span. Beams are a kind of structural member which support the floor over a long span. Beams may either be of wood or metal. Wood beams may be built up or solid, but metal beams or steel beams are of two types: standard beam and wide flange beam. This S beam, this is called standard beam. We are talking about steel beams, okay? These are steel beams only. When we are talking about steel beams, the standard beam is S beam and wide flange beam is W beam, okay? Flange beam, this is the flange and this is the flange. This is standard flange and this is wide flange. Can you see this dimension is longer as compared to the standard one? Beam size based upon weight of the structure and the span. If the span increases, beam size will increase. If you increase the weight of the structure, then again beam size will again increase. Please memorize it. These are the two conditions which are applied on the structure beams, that half of the building weight rests on the beam. Can you see from here? This is the point over here. This is your beam. It is marked here. This shaded portion means this is the total weight which is applied on this beam. And half of the building weight rests on foundation wall. This is the foundation wall and this is the foundation wall. Half of the building weight, this part will be rested on these foundation walls, and this part will be rested on this beam. Clear? These are the conditions. Okay, from here the given data, as I told you, for first floor, try to understand. This is first floor, this is second floor, this is ceiling, bearing wall, this is also a bearing wall. Can you see this middle wall? This wall is, this is a bearing wall. So first floor, second floor, ceiling, bearing wall, and beam. This is foundation wall and this is also a foundation wall. Clear? First floor. Live load plus dead load of the first floor, which is equal to 50 PSF plus your registration number. If you are the student, let me talk about like Fario. Fario's registration number is 2018120002. So he have to use instead of registration number 02. Similarly, for Queen, for William, you have to use the last two integers of your ID number. Like Miss Grenda, your ID number is 2018120025. So you have to add 25 instead of registration number. Similarly, Miss Serial, your registration number is 58. The last two integers of your registration number, that is 58. So you have to use, instead of 25, you have to use 58. Understand? You have to put these values over here and solve this numerical again in your home and submit this homework in the next class. I will check your homeworks. Okay. You have to send me through my email ID, and you can show me in the class also, will be considered okay. Okay. Well, live load live load plus dead load is equals to 50 PSF plus your registration number. For second floor, live load plus dead load, which is equal to 50 PSF again plus your registration number. And for ceiling, live load plus dead load is equal to 30 PSF plus your registration number. And for walls, dead load is 10 PSF plus your registration number. Roof has no load on the beam. Roof is not applying any load on the beam, so that's why we are not considering it. How can we calculate these weights? First, you need to calculate the area of the plot. How can we calculate length multiplied by W? The area of the plot is, can you see, 28 feet and 40 feet. This is L, this is W. This is L value, this is W value. So, area will be calculated L multiplied by W. 40 multiplied by 28, you will get 280 square feet. Floor 1 can be calculated, weight of the floor can be calculated by simple this area multiplied by the floor weight, that is 50 PSF plus your registration number. Ceiling can be calculated this area of the floor, the area of the floor multiplied by the self where the dead load applied on the ceiling. You have to multiply it, you will get the value, that value will be of ceiling. Subtotal, you need to total them. There are two floors, each floor weight is, let's calculate it. For example, 40 multiplied by, as we have seen, the area that is equals to 1120 square feet. So the area which is equal to 1120 SFT square feet. Each floor weight, please help me, Mr. Bruce Wayne and all of you, please help me. Let's solve this problem. Ms. Grenda, are you understanding? Yes, Mr. Bruce Wayne. What will be the floor, each floor weight? In simple words, 1120 multiplied by what? 50. You will get 56,000. The value will be 56,000. Clear? Bruce Wayne, are you understanding?
Not exactly.
Exactly. See, what is the area of the building? Have you seen
Very awesome.
from this slide? 40 feet is the length
40.
and 20
Yeah.
feet is the width. L value is 40. Can you see it?
112. Oh no.
40.
1,000 and
And 20. Clear? So 40 feet multiplied by 28 feet, you will get the area of the building. This is the total area of the building. Multiply this area with the weight of the floor. For each floor, there are 2 floors. Each floor weight is 56,000 pounds. Okay. And ceiling weight, for example, for you, Mr. Bruce Wayne, what's your ID number?
03.
03. Okay, so it will be 50 plus 3. So we need to multiply with 1120 multiplied by 53. And you will get the answer like, means what will be the answer if I change it? $53 multiplied by 1120. You will get 59,360. Okay, so like this, you have to use your own ID numbers for the calculation. Similarly for ceiling, so the exact answer, if I remove these values, the exact answer is 56,000, and over here the exact answer is 1120 multiplied by 30. You will get the answer. That answer is
33,000 and
33,600. Okay.
600. Yeah.
33600. Similarly, now the subtotal, you need to total them. C plus B. This is B and this is C. Just add them. Then, as why we are dividing it by 2? Because from this, because of this condition, as this condition tells us that half of the building weight rests on the beam. That's why we need to divide it by 2. Well, I will resume it after the call is going to be disconnected. You have to join it after it disconnected. So please join it fast so that we can resume our calculation. It will be disconnected now. Please join again. Mr. Bill, are you understanding?
Actually, I don't understand very clearly.
Okay. I will repeat it again and again, no problem.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
time. Okay, listen, guys. This is a numerical related to building area. Its length is 40 feet and its width is 28 feet. Okay. Now, first of all, the first step is you need to calculate the area. The given data, as you know, about that I have seen on the screen, you can see again. First step is, first of all, you need to calculate the area of the building, which is equal to length multiplied by 50, which is equal to 28 multiplied by 40. You will get 1120 square feet. Okay. Similarly, then you need to calculate the floor weight. Floor weight can be calculated by this area 1120 multiplied by floor itself, dead load plus live load. That is 50 for me, but for you it will be 51, 2, 3, 4 up to maximum. Going on. So it is 56,000. The 56,000 is for one floor. You can see this 56,000 is for one floor, but for two floors it will be multiplied by 2. isn't it? 56,000 pounds. Similarly, for if there are two floors, for two floors, 56,000 multiplied by 2, you will get 'And number 3 is ceiling weight, which is equals to this area 1120 multiplied by 30 pounds per feet. That will be equals to the answer is, what's the answer? Okay, then you need to go for subtotal. Add this value plus this value, which is equal to 145,600 pounds, and then divided by, in the fifth step, half of total. Half of total is 145,600 divided by 2, which is equal to what? That's it. Is it clear? Did you understand? Mr. Bell, did you understand now?
No, not very clearly.
Okay, let me explain. This is your area of the building. The one dimension is equals to 28 and another dimension is 40. Can you see here? One dimension is 28, which is equals to W, and this is L, length of the building, that is 40. Let me send you the picture so that it will be clear. Okay, so area of the building can be calculated by length multiplied by W. You will get the answer 1120 square feet. If I want to calculate the floor weight, then I have to multiply this value with the weight of the floor. So total weight of the floor can be calculated by 1120 multiplied by 50. You will get 56,000. There are two floors available. As this is the building shape. This is the building shape. This is the first floor. This is second. This is ceiling. And this is roof. Roof, ceiling, second floor, first floor. So there are two floors available. That's why we need to multiply this value with 2. That will be equals to, the total weight of the floors is 112,000 pounds, and ceiling weight is 1120, the same floor area, multiply by the ceiling unit weight, that is 30, you will get the answer, that is 33600 pounds. And the subtotal is this value plus this value will be 145,600 pounds, and half of the total, which is equals to 145,600 divided by 2. This is the half of the total. Why? As we have already explained that beam take half of the building weight. Half of the building weight is taken by beam. So let me explain on the slide again. See, area of the building is calculated by 40 multiplied by 28, we get this answer. Area of the building is calculated by length multiplied by W. Length of the building is, you know what's the length of the building? That is 40, and width of the building, that is 28. The value of length of the building, that is 40, and W value is 28. Clear? So area of the building is calculated by 40 multiplied by 28, you will get this answer, 1120 square feet. Floor weight can be calculated by this 1120 multiplied by 50, you will get 56,000. Ceiling weight can be calculated by this 1120 multiplied by 30, you will get this answer. Subtotal, first multiply with 2 and then add with 33,600, you will get subtotal, and then divide this subtotal by 2, you will get the answer, that is 72,800 pounds. Wall weight can be calculated by length of the wall multiplied by 8 feet multiplied by 10 pounds. How is it confirmed? How can we confirm it? Over here you can see the height of this wall. This wall height from here to here. This wall height is 8 feet. And similarly, this wall height is also 8 feet. Clear? 8 feet and 8 feet. These are the two walls which are resting on this beam. So the height of this wall is 8 feet. And the length of this wall, you can confirm this length of the wall can be confirmed from this 40 feet length. The length of the wall which is beneath completely from one end to another end, which is equals to 40 feet. So similarly, what we can do, instead of length you need to put 40 multiply by 8 multiply by 10. 10 is the weight of the wall, you will get the answer. Then this weight on the beam will take this weight. This answer plus this answer will be the weight which is applying on beam. So I have calculated the values. You can see weight on the first floor, that is 56,000. Weight on the second floor, also 56,000. Weight on the ceiling, that is 33,600. Total weight, that is 145,600 pounds. Half rears on the beam, that is 72,800 pounds. First and second floor wall, these are the two walls. Each wall is 3,200 pounds. Each wall weight is 3,200 pounds. But these are the two walls, that is, it is multiplied with 2, that's why it gives 6,400 pounds. So the total weight, this plus this, you will get 79,200 pounds. Clear? Now it is the step. If you have converted, then you have to refer, the second step is refer for the table, and then select the beam, which beam you want to use, and determine the size and spacing of the post, that how many columns should be over here. I am suggesting 3 columns. Column 1, 2, 3. So this is 40 feet span. The total is 40 feet. So each span from here to here, it will be 10 feet. From here to here, it will again 10 feet. And from here to here, it will again 10 feet. And from here to here, it will again 10 feet. So the total is 40 feet. And I am using 3 columns here. But first, we need to calculate the size of the beam, and I am selecting W beam. If I am dividing it, for example, the length of the beam is 40 feet, I am using, you can see I am using 3 columns, column 1, 2 and 3. From here, and because of these 3 columns, the span is divided to 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet and 10 feet. If the total force, that is 7, 9 and 200, I guess. £200 divided by how many spans are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Divided by 4, you will get this answer 19.8 kips. Okay, so your beam design should be for 19.8 kips, and from the table I have selected this value. You can see from the table, can you see over here, is there any 19.8 kilopounds? There is no value related to 19.8 kilopounds. The value which is the minimum value, that is 19, maximum is 24. So 20 is also available, but for 10 feet spacing, this is my spacing. For 10 feet span, you need to use these values. For 10 feet, you need to use these values. Clear? And from here, I am selecting which value is quite near to 19.8. The value which is near, I cannot select 16 because it is less than 19.8. Which will I will use the value which I am going to use, that is 23, and the beam size will be this one. So you can see I am selecting the size of beam 8 inch 6 by 6.5 inch wide flange beam will support 23 kip load. You can also use this for standard flange beam, but I have selected this one, that is okay for me. Similarly, you have to select your problem. When you solve this numerical for your homework, you have to solve it. You have to find, this will be the final answer of the beam. The final answer, what is the beam size and how much load will it support. Clear? And another part of the problem is we need to find what will be the size of the column. You have calculated the size of the beam, but what is the size of this column? What is the size of this column and this column? So let's move towards the sizes. First of all, size is determined by weight to be supported and length of the post. Post must support 19.8 kips. You can see each beam, this beam is supporting how much load? 19.8 kips. Even this beam is supporting how much load? 19.8 kPa. Similarly, this is the column. This column is taking the load half from this side and half from this side. Half load from this side and half load from this side. So the total is 19.8 kPa. Clear? So it is mentioned here that post must support 19.8 kPa and the post length is 8 feet. The height of the post, each column length is 8 feet. Okay, so chart shows that from this chart, what is the length of the post? That is 8 feet. And which value will it support? Column should support 19.8 kPa. Which value is quite near to 19.8 feet? I am selecting 34. And the size of the column will be 3 inches. Okay. So that's why it is selected here. Chart shows that 3-inch post will support 34 kilopounds. Clear? Mr. Bell, which point you didn't understand? Which slide? Mr. Bruce Wayne, Miss Queen, Miss Jean, Mr. Charlie Packer. Did you understand the numerical? You have to solve this numerical again with your registration numbers. And then show me in the next PCSD class, Principle of Concrete Structure Design. Mr. Bell. Turn on your mic first. I am not hearing you. Bruce Wayne, which part of the problem you didn't understand?
Where
this is basically the designing. You have to design.
Yeah.
The first thing that you need to design, that is beam, and another that is column. How can we design it? First, you need to calculate the loads, and then for those loads you need to design the member by using column, by using chart. Should I repeat it again? See, dear students, please, I am going to repeat it again. See it again. First of all, you need to calculate the loads on each member. Can you see this screen? First of all, you have to calculate the loads. The first step is to calculate the loads. Second step, then design a beam, and third step, then design a column. Okay, first step, let's calculate the loads. You know that there are 2 floors in the structure. First floor, second floor, ceiling, walls, and roof. First floor weight is 50 psi, pounds per square feet. Okay, first floor weight is given here 50 psi. Second floor weight is also given, that is 50 psi. Ceiling weight is given, that is 30 psi. and dead load which is given for the wall, that is 10 psi. Clear? Okay, and try to understand these conditions, that beam is taking half of the building weight. This beam, this is your beam. Can you see a beam, a I-shaped beam, this type of shape? This is your beam. This beam is taking half of the building weight. This weight of the building will be taken by this beam. Okay, and these are the bearing walls. Its height is 8 feet. Its height is also 8 feet. Okay, and this is your plane. The length of the plane, that is 40 feet, and the width of the plane, that is 28 feet. Okay, clear now? Now, first of all, you need to calculate the area of the plot. How can you calculate? Simple, 40 multiplied by 28. This 40 will be multiplied by 28. You will get this answer, 1120. Each floor weight will be calculated by this value multiplied by 50. You will get 56,000 pounds. And ceiling weight will be calculated by this value 1120 multiplied by 30. You will get 33,600 pounds. And how many floors are there? Well, how many floors are there?
Pardon?
How many floors are there? I have to multiply this value with which figure? 1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
Oh, there are two
Two.
floors. Can you see? First floor, second floor. That's why we need to multiply with 2. So that is why it will be multiplied with 2. You will get the answer, that is 78,000. Sorry, 112,000. Answer will be 112,000. Okay. It is clear now. Now you can total them. This 1120 plus 33,600. It will give you the answer 145 and 800. Okay. Well, do you understand? This is the total
Yes.
weight of the floors plus ceiling. Now just divide this weight 1458 800 145 800 will give you the total of 72,200. So wall weight can be calculated by 40. 40 is the length of each wall, and 8 feet is the height of each wall, and 10 pounds is the weight of each wall. Which wall I am discussing about? I am discussing about this wall, this wall. Can you see these walls? The walls which I have encircled. These walls are of two types. Its length is 40 feet, its height is 8 feet, and its weight is 10 pounds. So the total value will be, just multiply these values. Then you need to add this E part value and F part value over here. You will get the answer. So I have already calculated the values. First floor weight is 56,000. Second floor weight is also again 56,000, and weight of ceiling is 33,600. Similarly, total weight will be calculated. This plus this plus this, it will give you 145,600. And just divide this value by 2, you will get this value. First and second floor wall weight is equals to 6,400. Each wall weight is 3,200. How we have calculated it? 40 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 10, you will get this answer. Okay, weight bearing on the beam, that is 79,200. So how I am going to select? I have divided my post. I have divided my complete span into 3 posts, and because of these 3 posts, the span is divided into 4 parts. Each part is, this is the total span. Total span is 40 feet. You can see each span will be 10, 10, 10, and 10. So it will be 40 feet. So that's why the total value, what is the total value? You can see this is the total value. This total value divided by 4, you will get the answer 19.8. Okay, so this 19.8 gives is using here from this table for 10 feet span, and 19.8 gives. This is 10 feet span, and I want to find out the 19.8 gives. 16 is smaller value, so that's why I have to move towards 23. So I have selected 23 value, and the beam size will be 6.5 inches. So you can see the beam size is 8 and 6.5 inches, and the value which we are supporting, that is 23. Similarly, for column, for post selection, these are the posts, 3 posts. Each post is to be support 19.8 kips, and the height of the each post is 8 feet. So what will be the size of the post? The size of the post will be confirmed from this table. Height of the post is 8 feet. The value which need to be support, that is 19.8. 19.8 is not located in this line, so I am selecting the minimum value which is quite near to 19.8, that is 34. So for 34, the post size is 13 inches. Okay, so that's why it is selected here. Chart shows that 3-inch post will support 34 inches. Okay, so your beam size is also calculated, and your post size is also calculated. Beam size is 8 multiplied by 6.5 inch. Wide plane beam will support 23 kips, and the post size, which is 3 inch, and it will support 34 inches. Clear now? Mr. Charlie, did you understand?
Yes, I'm understand.
Okay, good. And how about Mr. Bruce Wayne and Bill?
So, teacher, the steel pepper column, there is still some question.
Wait, let me use my hands free. I didn't hear you clearly.
The steel pepper, the part of steel pepper. Pepper. 读哪个来着？ The steel pepper part.
Please write it if you cannot
Steel pepper chrome. Just the last one.
Last time. This one.
I didn't see the PPT was changed. Yeah. This one. Yeah. Yeah.
See.
So we just need to calculate the weight of this, how to say, the
First, these are the 3 steps involved. First of all, you need to calculate the weight of the total structure. That beam will support how much weight. First, you need to calculate weight of the structure so that beam will support half of the building weight. Clear? And then you need to find out the size of the beam. What is the size of the beam? And second number, you have to calculate what is the size of the column. This chart
oh.
is used for column size, and this chart is used for beam size, wide flange beams. Okay, it is clearly mentioned here. These dimensions, this direction, these dimensions are in fits. Your span, the total span is 40 feet. I have divided the span into 4 parts, so that's why each span is divided into 10 feet. Clear? And
So this two chart is for different kind of beams, right?
yes, these are the different sizes of the beam. Can you see? This one, this
Yeah.
one, and different.
One is W beams, and then the other one is for other kind of beams, right?
Yes. So the span length is 10 feet, and 10 feet span is supporting how much weight? 19.8. Okay. 19.8.
Okay, we understand. I understand. Yeah, thank you.
19.8 cannot be available in this list. So we need to select 23, the biggest value. Which is
Okay.
Same technique used for column. Each column is supporting this. Each post is supporting 19.8 gives. So can you find any value over here related to 19.8? No. So that's why I have to select 34. My height of the column is 8 feet. If my height, for example, if my height is Bell, you tell me, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please tell me if my column height is 10 feet and the weight which is supported by my column that is 19.8, then what will be the beam? Which value should I select from this list?
Let me think.
The call is going to be disconnected. Please join it again. We will discuss in the next 10 minutes. Please join it again. Did you understand my question, Mr. Bell? Please tell me if the column height is more than 8 feet, means the column height is, for example, 10 feet. If the column height is 10 feet and this column is supporting 19.8 kip load, this load 19.8 kip.
Maybe it's 28.
Yes, the exact answer is 28. Let me ask from any other student, for example. Mr. Charlie, can you hear me? Charlie, can you hear me?
What?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that, for example, the same question as I have asked you from Mr. Bell, that for example, oh God, the column height is, for example, the column height is, which option over here? 12 feet, and it supports,
And I don't know.
30 kips. Which type of column should I select? Mr. Charlie,
Yeah. Yes.
can you answer me?
And I cannot understand.
Okay. Mr. Bruce Van, can you answer me?
Yeah.
If my column height is 12 feet and it supports 30 kips load, which column should
30.
I select, and what will be the column size?
30 gives. 30 gives is the 30 and the first the column in feet we choose the 30, right?
What will be the size of the column from here? Can you please tell me from here?
30. First, what's the 30?
Mr. Bell, can you please reply me? The same question with different values. Because this type of values will be changed in your exam. I will change the values in your exam like this. If the column height is 12 kips and it supports 30 kips load, then which should I select? Yes, please tell me. From here, which should I encircle? Just tell me. Any one of you. 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet, 11, 12, 14, 16 and 18. My column height is how much? What is the column height? The column height is 12 feet. Okay. And the value which I am giving you for calculation, that is 30 kips, for example. So from this column, can you find the value that is 30 kips, equal to 30 kips? Is there any value available over here related to 30 kips? Which one should I select? Mr. Bell, can you?
43. 43.
43. No, 43 is quite bigger value.
Oh yeah, 32.
32 can be selected. So the column size will be 3.5 inches, and it will support 32 kips load, and the height of the column will be 12 feet. Did you understand now? So like this, you have to use these columns. These charts will be used same as I have used. Please, this is your homework. Try to solve this numerical in your home by using your ID numbers. Okay, and show me in the next class. Okay, and this is the time of your attendance. Let me take your attendance first. There are 70 participants available. Do you have any question, Mr. Bell, Bruce Wayne? Any question?
We think we can learn from the PPT after class.
Okay.
Some
If you
small
have any
question.
question, you can discuss with me after the class, and I will try to convince you. I will try to guide you. I am taking your attendance. Well, thank you. Attendance is done. If you have any question, you can ask me right now. If no question, then you all are free from my side. Thank you. No questions?
Goodbye, goodbye.
Okay, we'll see you in the next class, dear students. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Dear teacher.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye.